has to get up and preach against pants on women. You know, because in my family, I wear the pants in my family, thank God, both figuratively and literally. Because I believe that men should dress like men and women should dress like women. And I don't believe that a man should wear that which, or the woman should not wear that which pertaineth to a man, and the man should not put on a woman's garment, for all they have to do so are an abomination of the Lord. You see, the bathroom door will explain it to you. And that's not a fundamental Baptist symbol. That's actually the universal sign for man and woman. And I didn't invent it. And so you'll get up and preach that, and that offends people, and that makes people mad. Which, I don't understand why people get so hung up on this. I mean, is it that big of a deal? You live in Arizona, you know, if you're a man, put on pants. If you're a woman, put on a skirt. I don't understand what's so hard about it. Why you just demand to wear pants as a woman, you know, or why you just demand to wear a skirt as a man. No, I'm just kidding. Why women just demand to butch their hair or whatever, you know. Why not just be what God made you and just try to see how feminine you can be as a woman and how masculine you can be as a man? But you see, that kind of preaching offends. And I'm not going to preach a whole sermon on this subject, but today people are confused about the roles of men and women. Would you agree with that statement that people are a little bit confused about their gender today? I mean, would you say this, that there's probably never been a time in the world when there was more confusion about the genders? I mean, it's confusing. Yeah. Do you ever look at somebody and just get confused? Is this a man or is this a woman? Yeah. I was confused in the airport a couple days ago. I saw this thing, okay, this creature, or person. This person had pretty short hair, but really tight pants. I was thinking, like, are those the kind of pants that a man would wear? You know, I mean, you know, what? And I'm just looking, I'm just like, and this creature was acting very feminine in their movements. Kind of short hair, pants, but really tight, form-fitting pants, and it wasn't like a big belt buckle thing or anything. It was just like like tight. What is with these tight pants on guys today? Yeah. Does it move? Amen. Who thinks it makes you sick? You know, when you see these guys with their little bird legs and their tight. And so I'm looking at this guy, and it took me a while. I figured out as a guy eventually. But it was tough. I mean, it took me a good 2 solid minutes to figure it out. There's confusion. There's confusion where marriage, people aren't sure if it's a man and a woman. You know, is that confusing? No. You see, there's so much confusion today between the genders. And we have men that are more effeminate than ever. We have women that are more masculine than ever. Oh. And let me ask you something. If in America, 75 years ago, when all the men wore pants and all the women wore skirts, it was considered offensive and wrong for women to wear pants, I guess now in 2010 that the genders have become so confused, we should just have a unisex clothing. Right? Now, if anything, wouldn't it be more important in 2010 to be sure that we dress like a man as a man and dress like a woman as a woman, given the times that we're living in? Stop and think about that. Don't we need more? Do you think we need more or less distinction between the genders in 2010 than we did 75 years ago? 75 years ago, it wasn't that big of an issue. That was when the queers were in the closet. That's right. But you see, today, there's more confusion than ever, and then preachers are more permissive than ever, saying, oh yeah, that's the Old Testament. Now, come on up here, Zuja. She doesn't like to be called up here, but come on up here, honey. Now, I want you to stop and think about this, because a lot of people will say, well, it's okay for women to wear pants and whatever. I didn't call up my whole family, so Miriam and Becky, go ahead and sit down.
Becky, sit down.
Now, look. Does everybody see the way that my wife is dressed right now? Okay. Now, do you see a difference between the way that we're dressed? Yeah. Can you imagine me wearing that and her wearing that? You see, there's a huge difference. Now, I didn't dress my wife today. She dressed herself. And this is what she chose to wear. And look how different we look. Now, this is what God had in mind. Now, look at my hair and her hair. Do you see a difference between our hair? Now, is there a big difference? Now, this is why God said that men should have short hair and women should have long hair in 1 Corinthians 11. This is why he said, a woman shall not wear that which pertaineth to a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. You see, God wanted there to be a difference. Does everybody understand that? Yeah. God did not want there to be what? It starts with a C. Confusion. Okay? Now, let me ask you this. If it's okay, quote unquote, for women to wear pants, then my wife and I could both wear a pair of jeans, right? A pair of blue jeans. We could both wear a pair of tennis shoes. Juja, do you have a pair of tennis shoes? So do I. So we could both put on a pair of tennis shoes. We could both put on a pair of jeans. Okay? We could both put on a hooded sweatshirt. Does anybody object to women or men wearing hooded sweatshirts? I've never met anybody that did. Come on now. Okay? And then let me explain something to you. Did you know that we would be dressed identical? Think about this now. If we're both wearing blue jeans, and we're both wearing a hooded sweatshirt, and we're both wearing tennis shoes, would we be dressed identical?
Yeah.
Okay, now wait, is that what God intended?
No.
God said men, men's clothing, women, women's clothing. God did not intend us to have the same clothing. He wanted there to be a difference. Now what about this? What if God told us exactly where the line was? Because people say, well, long hair, short hair, that's just an arbitrary, what's long? What's short? What does the word is mean? Okay? What does it mean? Well, okay, let's say God gave us an exact length, and he said, okay, this is short, like this long right here, 5 inches. Okay? 5 inches. Everything under 5 inches is short hair. Everything over 5 inches is long hair. Let's say God said that in the Bible. Well, then think about this. What if my hair was 4 inches and 7/8? I'd be within the rule. And then what if her hair was 5 inches and 1/8? She'd be within the rule. But would you really notice a big difference between our hair? 1/4 inch difference, you're not going to notice. So, therefore, logic here. If men are to have short hair and women are to have long hair, then wouldn't there be an area in between that nobody should have? Right? I mean, otherwise it would be the same. Or what about clothing? Same thing. Wouldn't there be a clothing that would be, like what if my wife and I just both put on like a coverall jumpsuit? Like we're all going to be wearing in the future? When we're like, on sci-fi movies, they're all in like a jumpsuit. Okay? Like the Jetsons or something. Actually, they wore a skirt back then. But anyway, let's say we all just wore a jumpsuit. Would God be pleased if I'm wearing a jumpsuit and she's wearing a jumpsuit? The whole point, go ahead and sit down, honey. The whole point was to have a difference so that there would not be a confusion. So that people would know right away, hey, there's a big, big, big difference between being a man and a woman. The man is characterized by strength, boldness, power, and the woman is supposed to be a meek and quiet spirit, gentle, loving, care. There's just different attributes of a man and a woman. You guys that are of dating age, you're not looking for a manly woman. You're looking for a feminine woman. Is that right? If it's not right, then what's wrong with you? I've come to church here. You're looking for a feminine woman. And a godly, righteous girl is looking for a masculine man. She doesn't want a girly man. She doesn't want a queer little sissy. She's looking for a man who's a real man. That's right. And so, here's the thing. God wants a difference, and therefore, if pants are permissible for women, then what is the difference between the way men and women should dress? What is the difference? You see what I'm saying? There would be no difference. Because if everybody's wearing pants, then we're all dressed the same. You see, and this is what pastors do, because they don't want to take that, they want to take that stand, but they don't want to take that stand. They preach against breeches on women. Well, most people don't know what breeches are. And therefore, it's a way for them to say a word that's not easy to be understood. See, women will get up and walk out when I preach like this. But basically, when you preach on breeches on women, Now, breeches is a Bible word. The Bible uses the word breeches and talks about men wearing breeches. But the problem is, breeches is not a word that's commonly used in our vernacular, and so we need to explain that. That's the whole purpose of preaching. Otherwise, I could just read the Bible, we could close it and go home. It's to explain it to you, to expound it to you. And so we've got to use words that are clear. Here's a really clear word, queer. Now that's clear. Does anybody not know what it means to be a queer? Everybody knows. If I use the word pants, everybody knows what the word pants